Fuck. What's going on, fellas? This is Large Lads episode 3. This is the much less official for all of you who are new to the channel. We've done 2 of these. The people who are subscribed to the channel before liked them. This is basically where all the questions that aren't technical, like the shitter questions, this is where they go, the dumb ones. Me, Max, and my girlfriend Kirsten, we sit around and answer them. And it's like, I want to reiterate, if you guys have technical questions on programming or anything like that for me, more than happy to make videos answering those. That's just a separate series called Questions. So we're going to get straight into these to set the tone of these videos. The first one is, hypothetically, how many donuts can you both devour if your lives depend on it? So we're going to go person by person.
Granny's donuts.
Granny's donuts?
I haven't taken you guys there.
We have different grandmothers.
All right, Max, how many donuts are you putting down?
I think life depended on it, like 18 to 20 full-size donuts.
I want to go same.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, so for context, Kirsten can fucking eat. Like, people are like, oh, haha, it's quirky. She's a girl. She can eat a decent amount. What a funny character trait. Kirsten can fucking eat. On our first date, she put down like 4 hot dogs or some shit. It's really impressive. I myself, I don't think I could keep up with either of them. I think I'd top out at 10 or 11, I would say.
I think honest answer would be like 8.
8? Okay. Yeah, Max probably could do 20.
If
To
they're
be
like-
perfect.
I don't think.
If they're like grocery store size donuts, maybe 10. Maybe 8 or 10.
I instantly went to really confident. I was like, like 2 dozen. I know I remember how much food that actually is, but also life or death. I'll go like 16 to 18-ish.
What are your favorite pizza toppings for strength and size?
Okay.
Go. You get one for strength and 1 for size.
Okay, for strength and power, I'm gonna go sausage, and then for size, I'm gonna go pepperoni.
All right. Pizza toppings for strength and power.
For strength, I'm gonna go pepperoni. For size, I'm gonna go bacon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes, that's bacon
better
puts
answer.
on size. That's the science.
Bacon for the mouse.
I think I'm gonna go for size, chicken, right? Because that's a bodybuilding diet.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Who puts chicken?
actually, pro tip for you guys: if you're trying to eat a pizza, right, as like a refeed meal, and you want like the hack, if you get like the Domino's pizza that has barbecue sauce instead of sauce, and then instead of the regular marinara sauce, and then chicken, right, and you get double chicken, you can run up protein, and it's probably going to hurt your stomach slightly less than had you gotten the red sauce. Great refeed meal, slightly more macro friendly. Very pro tip. The next one. Have you ever had to break up with a training partner? How would you recommend doing so?
Oh no, it's taken so long between these videos. If you have an update on how that went, let us know.
Yeah, 1 month ago.
Oh no. I have trained with people that are bad. They usually quit. I don't think I've ever had to be like, bro, my man, I'm sorry.
Just wait them out. Is your strat?
Yeah, usually they'll quit. If they're not quitting, pretend you quit and go at a different time to avoid the confrontation.
Have you ever had to break up with a training partner?
I'm the bad training partner.
Yeah, well, and these 2 are my only 2 ever long-term training partners, and I had to stop training with Kirsten because she would get angry at me at the gym every day.
How did you do that? Did you have a conversation, or was it?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, we're gonna train at different times, bro. It's not you, it's me, bro. We're gonna train at a different time. Food prices are expected to jump in animal products. Do you think you'll modify your diets to maintain your current caloric intake and macros? If so, how? Well, we live in the middle of nowhere, Montana, and we are surrounded by fields full of cows. I do not think that we are going to feel much of the brunt of that change in the prices of beef. I eat predominantly beef. I don't foresee any changes. There's also a lot of chickens here. I don't think any of our staples are going to substantially shift in price.
We could always just buy it. We've bought like parts of a cow before, like bought a cow with someone, and then you shared the like frozen cow meat. So theoretically, we could do that. That'd probably be cheaper.
Wow, this is not topical. We should have done this a little quicker. Thoughts on or reaction to Thor versus Eddie?
Oh, the ending.
No, they're saying reactions. This was right after the fight.
Oh,
so it's like hot take the week of. All right, well, like a month and a half later, I was right. I told you guys. I predicted the winner. And I gave you guys my analysis that where Eddie went wrong is if they had only had a month to prepare, oftentimes the winner of a fight is just the person who's more aggressive. If skill is equal and that skill is 0, usually the aggressor will be the winner. So if they didn't have time to prepare, Eddie's strategy might have worked of like, oh, it's a fight, not boxing, bro. But then he tore his bicep and gave Thor like an extra year to prepare and learn to box, which is where he went wrong, and then didn't follow suit and learn to box himself. So that's my reaction. What do you think?
I think too many people fell for Eddie acting humble after he lost. You don't get to pretend to be humble after you lose exclusively. That's not what being humble is. Kirsten, what's your breakdown?
I'm glad Thor won. I think I like prime Eddie. I think Eddie now, I like him less. So I was kind of glad he got humbled.
All right. This is going to be an interesting one. Give each of your guys' novice to elite standards for overhead press and bench. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. We've talked a couple times about how part of the problem is there's way less people that seriously train the strict overhead press as it's not a competitive movement. So the standards are skewed by the fact that not many people do it. What would you say? What would you say is a novice to elite bench?
That's why, or discounting body weight.
I'll help you out. This is impossible to answer because it depends. Like if you weigh 300 pounds, the answer is very different than if you weigh 100 pounds. And everything is specific to the individual. I talked about on Bromley's podcast how I like the idea that novice, intermediate, advanced, elite should just as much be a gauge of how like refined your programming and your nutrition and your recovery and your mental approach to training, how advanced you are at that. That'll take different people different ways. Like some guys will only get so far with everything optimized, right? But I would very much call them an advanced lifter, right? Whereas some other people can make it really strong and not be doing anything right, and I hesitate to call them advanced when maybe there's a lot that we shouldn't be learning from them. So I think it should be a rating of process. So giving numbers, especially without a body weight, kind of tough. Kirsten, what's your extremely subjective female strength standards?
Let's do those female ones. Okay.
Female strength standards for overhead press and bench.
So overhead press, I think novice, you're getting towards the end of novice at like 100 pounds, 115 pounds. I think an elite goes more towards like 125, a plate more than that for overhead press. What do you think of that?
I think elite should be a little higher than the 125.
135. If you get strict overhead press a plate.
Yeah,
that's
I think
pretty impressive if you're a woman.
Elite is by definition pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's true. And then bench, I think probably you gotta be hitting 2 plates before you're in an elite conversation.
Damn, big boy time.
I'll throw out some gimmicky numbers.
Oh, fuck.
Or let's do 200. I feel like that's more fair to like smaller women.
Yeah.
Overhead press. 1 plate, novice. 2 plates, intermediate. 3 plates, advanced. 4 plates, elite. Moving on.
Damn. Solved.
People want simple answers? I'll give them.
All right. In each of your eyes, who is the GOAT of powerlifting and who are some of your favorite lifters? So Max and I have actually talked about this a couple times in the past month about how it's really tough to compare between tested and untested. It's seemingly impossible to compare between men and women. So I think that having that little like moniker and then GOAT, so like, you know, the tested women's GOAT, untested women's GOAT, tested men's GOAT, so on and so forth. I think breaking that up is rather helpful just because comparisons between them becomes really contrived. And even then, how do we compare, you know, like someone who's really good like John Hack to Dan Bell? Yeah, Dan Bell's got the heaviest total ever. That has to weigh in pretty heavily, even with the extreme relative dominance of John Hack, right? But who would be just some like GOAT Make it with some qualifiers.
Untested GOAT John Hack. Tested is Taylor Atwood. Untested women is Christy Hawkins. Tested women is Kimberly Walford.
Yeah, you stole those from me.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Right, it kills me. Right, like off of the tested men to not have Ray Williams based on his era of dominance.
Yeah.
It kills me. But what Taylor Atwood is doing, I think, is in a more competitive division, being that far ahead. I think that's a pretty tenable argument. If you had a heavyweight bias and you said Ray, I would not blame you. I deep down, that's what I want to say too. There's a lot of other options there, I think, that get slept on, but I think those would be two that jump out to me. As far as untested, I think John Hack, I believe, has surpassed Ed Cohn all time. I'd say it's a pretty good one. You could put like Andrei Milanichev just solo pushing the record forward for like a decade. I think that could be a comfortable shout there. I mean, maybe you could just say, well, Dan's done the heaviest total. Dan Bell is the man. I think you could say that. As far as untested women, I think I'd have to go with either Christy Hawkins, maybe Mariana Gaspari, however you say her name. I think those would be pretty, like earlier, we've got like pioneers like Susan Salazar, I think would be a pretty reasonable pick. There's a couple other people in there I think you could comfortably argue for. As far as tested women, I definitely think Kim Walford probably would be my pick personally. I think that there's a couple of people you can make a really good argument for. I think being competitive across some of the rapid growth of women's powerlifting is something that makes Kim Walford like a good argument, rather than just someone who's racked up a bunch of wins predominantly before it had reached this high level of competitiveness. Just go.
Christy Hawkins.
Goated.
It's
over.
They said favorite lifters too.
Oh.
So I've got Miss Min Ann and Melissa Peacock. They said lifters, not power lifters. So.
Yeah, lifters. All right, that's the two. Top two?
Right now, my top two.
Max, go.
I think Shane Haller is sick. Oh God, there's so many. John Hack, very cool, obviously.
Oh, Sam and Max also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The real goats. Oh God, go.
Large Zadrunas. All right, moving on. Let's see. What would be your strategy to go from 200 pounds to 300 pounds as fast as possible with no regards for human health or muscle gain?
This is a good question.
Fast.
This is a great large lads question. This is what the series is for.
This guy's done it. Listen to the CEO.
All right, let's make this clear. I did it over the course
Explain
of
how you did it.
many years.
Teach them how you did it.
Many years. There has been a time in which I tried to gain as much weight as possible.
And he did a really good job.
Sam, I did a competition, and Sam was about 210, I think, and I was, like 199, 200-ish, and he said race to 230, and I was 230 before the month was over.
Yeah.
So
It was your 14?
that was the most unhealthy I've ever been. Strategies. Ice cream, you can always eat after a meal. Super easy to get down, so you're gonna have ice cream at the end of every day. Usually, about half a gallon. You're gonna want to stick to a lot of fast food. So just like steal your friend's money and buy Taco Del Mar.
Is that the best one what's the best fast food one for gaining as much weight as fast as possible?
I think you gotta go diverse, because you'll get sick and tired if you're eating
That's
something.
fair.
So you wanna break up your fast foods and do the important food groups. Also, a lot of fast food places have ice cream, so you can add that on to all of your meals. So yeah, a lot of fast food. Stop exercising if you're really trying to gain weight that quickly, because that's burning calories. I would say those are my primary pieces of advice.
All right, Kirsten, you could do this.
Show your cereal
If you
also.
wanted to.
If I wanted to.
Yeah, how would you do it?
How would I gain weight really fast?
Let's scale this. You're trying to go from where you're at now to like 220.
I would.
How you getting there?
If I had unlimited money, it would happen.
The only thing stopping Kirsten from being 220 is financial.
If I were budgeting to not eat out, and because I like eat chicken and rice.
What's that?
I eat my chicken and rice for budgeting purposes. I think if I had an unlimited budget, It would be very easy for me.
Yeah, dumb question. It's easy.
Just eat, you bozo.
DoorDash, snacks, always have snacks. I bring like, one of the guys at work made fun of me for how big my lunchbox is because I bring like a big bag of chips with me in my big lunchbox. Get a big lunchbox and bring snacks.
All right. All right, this is a little too technical. That'd be a boring one. Weirdest or funniest social interaction at the gym?
Kirsten, you can start on this one.
They're all my fault, so
Kirsten's a weird person.
I'd have to think. There's a lot for me.
I think me and Max is potentially one of the one that's really up there that we detailed in the last Large Lads, I think it was, where we talked about the guy who decided he would teach us the monkey grip and explain how using straps actually unlocked unlimited grip strength when you took them off. That was pretty up there. And then when I was like, that doesn't make sense, he said I was reading too many textbooks and that he's worked with some of the best bodies in the world, and that's why he works at a YMCA. That was pretty up there. I think that ranks pretty highly. I don't think I had any really bad ones or weird ones while I was at college. There was a couple of crackheads at one of the gyms where I used to train that were like kind of amusing, but nothing super awkward. I'd say that would have to be up there. There was also one guy, just this old dude came up to me and like I was doing some board presses, so I had a bench block on the bar and I was doing some reps and some old man came up to me and just deadpanned informed me that I was cheating. Yeah.
He's like, no.
Facts. I was like, well, I can do more than I'm doing right now without it. I've done it. I did it earlier today, and he was like, no, you can't. And I ended up buckling, and I demonstrated to him that I could bench 3 plates without my 2 board, and then he just like was like, oh, and left. So that was a super cool one. Do you have anything come to mind?
I think I'm pretty normalized to the gym, but when I was throwing shot put in high school, I got my one and only in-person drug accusation that I've ever gotten. I was like, just like in the warm-up area, and somebody was like, "You're pretty big. You're on steroids, right?" And I was like, "Holy shit! No one's ever said that to my face." No, I'm not. And he's like, "I think you're lying." I was just like, "Okay." I don't know what else to tell you, my man.
All right. Sheether Brothers with knives versus Prime Bill Kazmaier with an axe. Who's taking the dub?
Us, of course.
Absolutely. Easy dub. Honestly, we're going to fight extremely dirty. I'm throwing sand. This is not even... we're jumping him. This isn't close. Moving on. Would you rather fight Thor or 3 raccoons? I love that you didn't even pick more raccoons.
Do they have
Thor?
Rabies?
I'm not gonna get a disease from a raccoon. I like my odds. I'm gonna go Thor.
I'm gonna take Thor too. 3 raccoons is kind of scary.
Kirsten?
I have to take the raccoons. I don't have a chance against Thor, but I think I might have a chance against the raccoons.
That's fair.
And Thor just knocks you out, and then you're down.
Yeah, I'm not
The
fast.
raccoons
I'm not
will eat
gonna dodge him.
All right. So this one's slightly technical, but it's very appropriate to the series. Can you guys talk about belt positions for quote bigger guys? I just got a belt and it's great, but it's kind of hard for me to get around, to work around fat. How did you guys deal with this when you started using it? Fuck.
Sam, this is obviously your area as the fattest guy here.
How did you find the perfect position? Is there such a thing as a perfect position, or do you prefer to wear it higher or lower? Why, etc.? Okay, well, as certified fat guys, we are absolutely qualified to answer this question. What do you do when you're trying to get your belt around your fat?
I don't have a lot, but one, you might want to break in your belt and just move it around a bunch, because when you initially get a belt, they're super stiff and rigid, and that can make it worse. 2, just put it super low, just below your gut. That can work for a lot of people. And then on deadlifts, I go high. That's where I wear mine. It's low on squats, high on deadlifts. Just play around with it, move it around for a couple sessions, and I'm sure you'll find a more comfortable position.
Yeah, so when your gut gets big enough, right, you kind of are forced into one of two options, and usually you're kind of going below the gut, so a little higher in the back and a little lower in the front. And so going under the gut in that regard, or we're kind of at the opposite where we're going a little lower in the back, a little higher in the front, going kind of over the top of our gut, right? And I think that the commonality is it's pretty common to prefer that lower position for squats and the higher position for deadlifts. Oftentimes the lower belt position will get in your way get in the way of you getting into a good deadlift position, which if you have a gut is already hard to begin with. That's why as we go up in weight classes, the squat and the bench continue to go up and up and up, and the deadlifts fall off quite a bit. Because yes, those guys are stronger, but because they're forced into less and less mechanically efficient positions, they're not pulling any more weight, right? So going from 308 to super doesn't really make you that much better at deadlifts unless you're one of the rare people who's able to lock into a good position at a very high body weight, right? And that's why people say, oh, well, is being tall really good for deadlifts? Yeah, if our goal is absolute weight, yeah, absolutely. It means you can get to be a heavier, bigger person before your leverages start to be thrashed, right? That's why we don't see 5'5" guys breaking the deadlift world record. It's just if they get to a heavy enough body weight to move the tonnage needed for an all-time heaviest, then they would have their leverages wrecked, right? And that's how like Thor, right? You're like, oh, well, he should be at a huge disadvantage because he's tall and he's moving it further. It's a little bit more complicated than that. There is no perfect belt position. It can vary by lift, and it's going to vary quite a bit person to person, right? So this is the ultimate example in it comes down to trial and error, right? We're practicing the skill of our bracing, and we're just trying to use the belt in like a synergistic way that complements our bracing, right? So it doesn't take away our ability to brace. It's not so tight that we can't get a brace in, but it's not so loose that it's not really adding anything to our brace, right? We try to find a medium tightness where it's supplementing and it's making our brace better than what it already is, rather than thinking it's something you're going to put really tight and it's going to reinforce your back. That's not how it works. And then as far as positioning, it depends on the positions you're hitting during a lift, right? So a lot of that does come to trial and error, being open, like kind of being open-minded and trying a different positions and varieties, and just kind of taking notes for yourself. Really, that's what it comes down to. I will tell you though, the bigger your gut gets, you usually have to skew a little lower or a little higher. The kind of right down the middle option that a lot of people like when they're not fat kind of goes away to some degree as being viable. Though some people have big old guts and like just putting it right in the center. So I can't say it's wrong. All right, the last one. Emotional manipulation tactics. My girlfriend is 4'6" with super short arms and more traps than me, without ever lifting a weight. How do I make her the new Scott Mendelson instead of letting her chase a stupid dream of teaching kids?
Good question.
Great question.
Sam is an expert at it.
All right, what do you think? How does he get her to abandon being a teacher and get really good at benching?
I feel like you would be the best example because you got your wife in the gym.
Make her think lifting is the coolest thing ever. Like, find her good role models who she really thinks are cool, who are really strong. I think that's a really good way to really get someone emotionally invested.
I think that's a step two. I think off the bat she's not going to be interested in lifting role models.
Maybe. I don't know then. That's what worked for me, I think, right?
Yeah.
Well, Kirsten started.
Well, Kirsten got into the gym, right, because she was angry that I was gone for like 3 hours a day. So she's like, I'm coming with you. And I was like, okay, cool. And then she's like, you need to teach me how to lift. I was like, okay, cool. And then I taught her how to do face pulls. She did a set. I tried to get her to do a second set, and she started crying.
And then I went to the bathroom, and then I left.
Yeah, but she stuck it out, right? So train for excessive times, so that way she misses you, right? And be really stubborn and don't compromise, and say the only way she gets to see you is if she comes out to the gym. This works, right? This is time proven, right? And then gradually overload her tolerance for hard sets until she can actually train, right? And then you introduce the lifting role models. Yeah. That or you get really rich and offer payouts based on bench PRs. I think that could work.
The overloading of the time is important. We've heard a lot of dudes talk about their girlfriends getting overwhelmed at the first time. Don't have high expectations for your first time taking your girlfriend to the gym. Unless she's like an athlete or something, she might kick your ass, but I think for the most part.
All right, here's the correct answer. I think these are softballs. Here's the real hard hitter. Stop going to the gym yourself. Start gaining weight. She will not break up with you off the bat. Get unhealthy. She'll start wanting to take you to the gym because you've gotten gross. And then you get her to go to the gym with you.
Correct answer. All right, that's all we got for today. That was Large Lad 3. Thank you guys for watching.